Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jefferies, the present-day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. Why, oh why does our thyroid go out of balance and then influence so many things like our weight and our energy and our moods and everything? Like, it's crazy. As a naturopath and in Chinese medicine, we say that your adrenal glands are the core of your being, and your adrenal glands tells your reproductive system what to do and tells your thyroid what to do. Now, for your thyroid to go off whack, your adrenals have to be tired. They are taxed in some way. I'm not going to go into that huge here, but I want to talk mostly about even just some of the things why the hormones get out of whack and it shows up in our thyroid. So back in my 20s, when I worked and played way too hard, working in the pharmacy industry, I burned out my adrenals. I did. Working and playing far too hard, and my body just went, Jen, you're done. I ended up with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease that showed up for me in things like energy, sleep, moods, weight, all those kind of things. And the doctors went, you're going to have to take these drugs. That's it. And I went, I sell these bloody drugs. I'm not going to take them. No way. So I found a naturopath and I worked with that naturopath who really was amazing and showed me so many things to come back on track. Core basics. Well, I call them the core basics. They're not wildly crazy things, but there are some core basics you can do that help to keep your thyroid and your adrenals in a happier place. So I want to talk about them today. And why do I want to do that? Because I meet so many women who've got tight adrenals and it's showing up as either really underactive thyroid. They may not have Hashimoto's, but they've well and truly got low thyroid, but even some who their body runs the other way and they end up with a really overactive hyperthyroidism. So let's talk about it. So like I say, so simple things like, well, in our world anyway, the adrenal sits behind everything. So your adrenal glands are little glands that sit on top of the kidneys. It's where your stress hormones are produced. It's also where your reproductive system hormones are produced. And they're meant to be, it's like you spend a bit of adrenal energy every day, put a bit back in, spend it, put it back in. And we just spend way more than we put back in. I bang on about sleep so much because sleep is one of the best ways to recharge our adrenal glands. Minimum of between 7 and 9 hours sleep, and preferably be asleep before 10 p.m. That's a not negotiable. Sleep has to happen. Okay. Yes, your body, when it comes to thyroid, could have been interacting with things like you might have been exposed to some kind of, pollutants or chemicals or toxins like heavy metals and mercury and things, which can absolutely interfere with things like thyroid function. However, it's not the whole picture. Okay. So iron. What we know about the thyroid is that we require adequate amounts of iodine to produce those thyroid hormones. Now, the deficiency in iodine can disrupt our thyroid function, and that's why nowadays you'll buy things like iodized salt to help prevent that. But then they'll go and put the iodine in just plain white salt, and that's worse because that's like sodium and potassium. It's drying out all our arteries and things. It's just like, no, that's not the way to do it. So I'm going to give you a few foods that I like to work with in a minute. So hang in there. That can help with that iodine part, if that's part of it. If you have been exposed to big chemicals, toxins or something like that, that can be affecting your thyroid function. I'm a big fan of selenium. You can get selenium in very small doses through a health food shop in Australia, but you might need to see a practitioner, naturopath in clinic to be able to get better quantities of that, or better dose, or one of those supplements. Stress is the one that we can absolutely contain, control, work with the most. So it's interesting that even what stresses me won't stress someone else, and vice versa. But what I know is when our body is in pain and not functioning, we end up looping. Okay, so even things like diabetes and chronic fatigue and all these kind of things can be just keeping us in this loop where we're just not getting on top of it. And it's not the big stresses nowadays. Yeah, those kind of physical things can be stressing us out. It's the kids going, mum, 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 it's the too many emails. It's, for fuck's sake, the last 3 years, as I record this, we've come out of, the pandemic and people being thrown into having to homeschool, having to work from home. They've never done these kind of things. There were so many stresses, and we're seeing more and more of these conditions come in right now, because while the adrenals have to cope, they do. They just go, okay, here's a little bit more, here's a little bit more. And then as soon as you give them an edge to breathe, like you've probably experienced it when you've gone on holidays, the first day of your holiday, you got a cold and your body just goes, I'm just going to fall in a heap and be sick for 3 days. That's so common because it's the adrenals, they finally catch up with us. And here we are right now. I recorded this, it's 2023, mid-2023. And, the world was closed till 12 months ago. It only opened up just over 12 months ago. And there was that 12 months of uncertainty of people going, why is it going to shut down again? We're still living in survival mode. Like the stress was very real. Now that people are going, oh, okay, we're getting back to normal, their adrenals are going, fuck you, are falling in a heap. And we're seeing it really show in things like people's thyroids, particularly as women. So here's a couple of quick tips to really help with your thyroid, particularly if it's under functioning at the moment. So increasing iodine. Okay, so simple, some foods you might want to play with. I'm a fan of seaweed. So, you can get the wakame salad, that Japanese salad. You'll get it from Asian supermarkets. The dried nori rolls, the sheets, the nori sheets that are used to make sushi. They're rich, they're rich as well. So we want seaweeds. That's cool. In clinic, we actually prescribe a liquid tonic made of seaweed. It is, I have to say, bladderwrack, which is what it is. It's made from the bladderwrack seaweed. It is disgusting. It is slimy. It is a horrible tonic to take. Much more of a fan of being able to do it with foods. Okay, strawberries, cranberries, pineapple are also good sources of iodine. Green beans and navy beans are also considered to have a high level of iodine. So maybe seaweed's mine. That's my go-to. Bring that in if you can. That's the easiest way to pull it up. I'm not a fan of iodine salt, like I said, because they'll put the iodine into just sodium and potassium, which is what your white salts are, and that's got way worse health effects than just missing out on the iodine. Okay, next one is increasing dietary selenium uptake. So selenium, I said, is a mineral. We don't need giant amounts of it. There's a lot of control on it with the TGA here in Australia. You've generally got to go to a doctor or a naturopath to be able to get a decent dose, but it does help thyroid. Foods to increase in your diet to get a bit of selenium are Brazil nuts, eggs, fish, but it's the really white fishes, and lean meat. Okay, selenium's important. We need vitamin D for our thyroid as well. So you want to get about, I talk about 10 before 10, at least 10 minutes in the direct sun before 10 a.m. of a day is the way to go. Otherwise, top vitamin D rich foods are salmon, but gosh, it's hard to get real salmon. It's all farmed, and the animal the fish is so stressed in those conditions. That's worse. If you can get true salmon from a true wild source, go for it. But wild salmon farmed, which is what they bloody do here in Australia, it doesn't count. Egg yolks have got vitamin D, so get them from Happy Chooks. And mushrooms, but you want to do, they've got to be raw, chopped up raw in your food. Okay, we need to reduce our stress. Like I said, sleep has to be an important part of making. It has to be the biggest priority, number one priority, if you want to get your thyroid back into good health. Okay, so it's just not negotiable. Even from an aromatherapy point of view, boring old lavender oil absolutely gets missed out because people think there have to be all these new, more clever oils. But I love the fact that lavender has been shown in many research studies to help balance out cortisol levels. Cortisol is your stress hormone. If you're having trouble getting to sleep, put a few drops of lavender in a diffuser or even just on your pillow and breathe that through the night. That's going to help your body manage stress differently while you sleep. Okay, adaptogen herbs, not negotiable. I'll give you a link in the show notes to the adaptogens I take. I used adaptogens to get me out of a hole 30 odd years ago, and I still take adaptogens proactively nowadays to help my body deal with stress in advance. I don't wait to swing so wildly off track. And then you want to also be able to reduce stress levels. There's some great work been coming out of a guy by the name of Dr. Huberman out of California, and he talks about NSDR, non-sleep deep rest, and that comes from things like shavasana. Shavasana is that replenishing, restorative adrenal process that's done after a yoga session. Okay, and by the way, moving your body, you don't need to flog yourself when your thyroid's tired and your adrenals are tired and you're holding excess weight. Going for a 10K run will not help you. You need to move your body every day, but you need restorative exercises like Qigong, Tai Chi, Pilates, yoga. And with any of those kind of things, bringing in even a 10-minute or 15-minute shavasana afterwards, which gives us that non-sleep deep rest, is invaluable. I will put a link in the show notes to my wife, Alice, Dr. Alice McKinnon, and she is a yoga Qigong queen. And she's got some great free online classes. You can just play along, listen to their guided meditations. I'll put the link there. Go and check them out. I promise they're worth it. Okay, so if you want to look after your thyroid, we need to look after our adrenals. We want to look after our adrenals. We have to look after us. The adrenal glands are at the core of our being. When we run out of chi, we die. I promise it's worth it. Your thyroid's out of whack. It's telling you your body is tired. Bring it back into balance. Okay. The healthy life hack is pretty simple. Go to the show notes, www.healthylifehacks.com.au, and go back over the notes of what I said and see what you can bring in to your regular life routine, whether it's going to be that you go to bed before 10 every night and get that sleep to recharge, whether you're going to take some adaptogens, whether you're going to do a shavasana, do some non-sleep deep rest, 10 minutes of a day, whether you're going to get into the sun 10 minutes before 10 a.m. every day, whatever it is, start there and build on it. Okay, that's my biggest passion, is to get people out of that survival mode, because it's just so damn important. Have fun. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review, have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from, so that you always catch the next episode. I welcome your emails, and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.